I'm gonna add that to my long list. I need to. I already have the
list.
Welcome back to another great episode of the Riley Black Project with Crystal and John.
Hey.
Hey, what's going on?
Today, we have
What do we
my
have?
homie Stephanie.
Oh, what's going on, Steph?
Hi.
Is it cool to call you Steph?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
totally fine.
All right.
Yeah, I was
Some
gonna
people
say,
don't like
middle
shorts.
letters.
you gotta clear
Yeah, some
like
people don't
name
like-
shortages.
I
with
don't like
people.
Jonathan.
I fucking
My name's
hate
John.
Chris.
Yeah. Oh, Chris.
I'm gonna start calling you Jonathan because you
No.
called me Steph.
Yeah, but I asked right after, like, oh, wait a minute.
Wait.
No, I'm
That
cool with
didn't
it.
come
I'm
up in
kidding.
pre-show. That didn't come up in pre-show.
It's
Went
true.
with the moment.
didn't
I
it?
just went with the moment.
Yeah. So what did we celebrate yesterday?
We went to a house party. Housewarming. My friend's housewarming.
Oh, shut up. You know
It
what
was
I'm
our
talking about.
anniversary.
Happy
was-
anniversary!
Thank you.
Thanks.
It was our 7th year married and 10 years of meeting.
Yes.
It's all on the same day. So that way I don't forget.
Aw.
It was pretty, like, we had to do it that way.
Well, we had to do it that way when we decided on
Where?
getting married.
Yeah.
On the place where we got married, Vegas.
So we met in Vegas on vacation
Both of us were on vacation.
at a nightclub.
Yeah, Club Trist. Shouts out. In the Wynn Hotel.
Yep. So I was there with my sister.
And I was there with 4 friends from work, all guys. It was a guys trip.
Yeah. And then, so I always like to add this part in there because it's pretty funny that I was with another guy, but not like that.
Right. You were when I
But
saw
you didn't know that.
No, because you were dancing with him. And to go back a little bit right before that, it's crazy. I always mention how crazy it is because we brought you know those guys. Stephanie, have you been to Vegas?
Yes.
Okay, so
when I was a kid.
Oh. Okay. Well, maybe
she
you
may
don't
still know,
maybe
but-
you don't remember, but there are these
Yeah.
guys. They're kind of promoters or
Yeah.
whatever, and they basically sell you packages. They're like, hey, you could get into this club for, you get into these clubs for cheap, and then you tip him, essentially. So we buy this package from him for from I don't know, it's like 3 or 4 different clubs or whatever. So the night of, we're debating on where to go. Now, I had been to Vegas before, and another buddy of mine, Tony, had been to Vegas before. But the other 2 guys, it was their first time in Vegas. So Tony was like, oh, well, we could go to Tao, because I've been there before. And then I've heard Trist is good, too. It's pretty good. And I was like, well, since you've been to Tao, let's all go somewhere new. Let's go to
Yeah.
Trist. Since none of us have been there before, let's try that one since you've been to Tao.
Right.
And maybe we'll hit up Tao a different whatever. So that's how we decided to go to Trist.
Yeah.
Had we not gone to Trist,
We
would have
wouldn't
never.
be here
We wouldn't be
today.
here. There would be no
Probably
Riley
wouldn't be
Black
knocked
Project.
up.
It was fate.
Right?
Yeah. So yeah, then we're in the club and I see. So it's her sister, and this guy, and
Yeah.
she's dancing with this guy, and her sister's like, kind of. It looks like third wheeling it a little bit. But everyone, it's packed on the dance floor,
Yeah.
and we kind of like make our way over and purposely bump into Angie, her sister, and then.
Well, so the guy was a guy I had met on a previous trip to Vegas. So me and my sister, as soon as I turned 21, we went every year to Vegas. And so this was our yearly trip to Vegas. And he was a guy we met on a previous trip. And he actually lived in Vegas. And so when we went the previous year, he was super cool. And so we hit him up again, and he knew people, so he could get us into the club without having to pay, without having to wait in the super long line,
Right.
whatever. So
That's a good connect.
right?
Yeah.
And he was a super cool dude. There was kind of attraction, but not really. It was just it was more friends, but it was
Right.
I don't know
Right.
what this is. And so anyway, then we had met you guys. I was talking shit about your friend's mustache.
Right. He had the he had the long he had the mustache, the handlebar mustache.
Yeah.
Yeah. and we had all like
The Hulk Hogan thing.
yeah, and we
Yeah.
had all
That's
like
amazing.
like we had all groaned it. It was when what's it called? Who was playing for the Jets? Sanchez. When Sanchez was playing for the Jets, he was their quarterback.
I don't know
He
who that
kind
is.
of grew one of those, and they're our rivals because we're
Right.
Dolphin fans. So we all grew it out. Like it was like this social media movement to grow it out, like to mock him. So we all grew it out for like literally just like a day or two,
Right.
just enough.
But then he kept it.
Right, just enough for us to all come to work together and take a
Right.
picture with all of us, and then we literally shaved the next day,
Right.
except for him. He's like, you know what? I kind of like this, and started rocking it,
Yeah.
and went to Vegas with it. Like, really? Like,
Yeah.
we're in Vegas. You're gonna okay?
He went with it. Yeah. So
It's a
Yeah, so-
conversation starter. It's kind of brilliant.
it definitely was.
It worked because she was giving him shit for it all night.
He was so mad at me.
Yeah.
He hated me.
Well, and then that's another thing. He doesn't take jokes like we can joke from him because we know him for a while,
but
but
he
out of
doesn't
new
know me.
people, he doesn't.
Yeah.
Well, no, new people,
Right.
he doesn't take jokes well from new people. But you're wearing a
I mean, come
kick
on.
me stand almost
Exactly,
sign
yeah.
on your face almost.
Are y'all
'Cause
still
it's-
friends?
Huh? Yeah, no, I'm friends
Yeah.
with him. Yeah. I mean, I
Have
went
you
to.
made him a keychain of the mustache?
Oh my God, no! But I'm going to now.
You got
That's an amazing idea. Oh, that's a great idea.
man.
Done and done.
Oh, Matt's gonna love
Yes.
that. Matt's gonna love that.
Is he really gonna love it, or is he
Probably not.
even better?
You gotta post the reaction too.
Right. And so another funny part of the story is John was not my type.
I'm not black,
Wow, just came right out with.
but my friend Keith is.
So
yeah.
fortunately and unfortunately, that's what kind of like got them in. Was because so they ended up wanting to leave because people were getting like pushy and like just super drunk, and they were like, okay, like it's time
No
to go.
club etiquette.
Yeah, and so Keith actually was the one who came back.
Yeah.
And asked for the numbers for us to like meet up again, like at another point during the trip because they were heading out. And so I gave my digits to Keith, but it wasn't, I could tell it was kind of like no one had like claimed a person yet.
No, we hadn't.
And so like I was giving my digits to Keith, but I kind of still knew that like it was up for like,
It's still up in the air.
Yeah, the
Who gets who?
assignments were still
Yeah.
were still loose. And so
Well, fairly loose because I mean
right.
Tony and Matt were not in
true.
the
Yeah,
running.
Right.
It was me and Keith the whole trip.
Pretty much. So so then we made plans a couple days later to
Oh, that was a shit show.
meet up at an ice bar.
-5.
So
An ice bar?
yeah, it's
Yeah.
literally made of ice.
Yeah. It's like
What?
it's like the size
tiny.
of it's the size
It's like
of the bar.
Yeah, it's like the size of a living room, like
Yeah.
a small living room.
So cool though.
Yeah.
Yeah. You wear coats and
Which again is crazy because I hate ice. Like I don't
right.
I don't touch ice. I don't do like, but it was like cool. It was like this novelty
Right.
thing. So it was like, yeah, sure, let's go check it out. So neither of us knew that there were 2 ice bars.
Well, so we found the ice bar because it was our last full day in Vegas, and we were doing all of our like souvenir shopping
Right.
for people, and we passed it over by New York.
Right. Well, we looked it up and only one showed up. And there was one that was literally right next to their hotel. Like if it wasn't in their hotel, it was like at the hotel next to them. So we go to that one. And again, mind you, it's super tiny. They're not allowed to take in your phone because
What?
Well, because they take pictures there and try to sell it to you.
Yeah, the real reason is because they take pictures and they want to sell the picture to you. And so they don't want you to be able to take your own because then you're not going to need theirs. Well, they use some other kind of excuse that like the phones like affect the ice or some
Or they don't want to be
bullshit.
responsible for the temperature
That too,
change
and yeah,
or
whatever. So anyway, I smuggle my phone in because we're there before them, and I need to know like when they're coming, whatever. So then they're like, oh, okay, we're standing outside, we're about to come in, blah blah blah, and we're like, okay, and then they're like, all right, we're in. Where are you guys at? Now again,
You can
this
just
place
look
is
around
the
and see the
size
whole place.
of like a living room, and we're like,
You look to your
Yeah.
left, you look to your
And I'm
right,
like,
you saw the whole place.
no, you're not.
Right.
And they're like, yeah, we are. Where are you? And we're like, you're not at fucking -5. Is there another one? And then so then we go and ask the bartender. We're like, hey, is there another ice bar?
And
they're
our
like,
dumbasses, I'm like, you know what? She might be in the outside because there was two parts. There's the ice part, and then there's another like outside where you're not in the actual quote ice bar, but it's still part of the same thing. So like maybe they're in the outside part and we're in the inside part. Keith, go look at the outside part, see if you see them. And yeah, no.
Yeah. So then we find out at that point that there's two, and we're like, oh, okay, cool. So then now we have to figure out like. Now we got to meet somewhere else because that just totally failed. And unfortunately for Keith, Keith was kind of like, it kind of ended up in like that Keith and my sister, and then you and me. But that
didn't happen until we met up again.
Well, but
because he was the one texting you guys.
My sister ruined the fact that there would be two single girls.
Right, because she picked up a guy at the bar.
She met a guy at the wrong ice bar.
And he decided to come with.
He did.
To meet a bunch of other guys.
He did.
Oh no.
Yeah. So then we met up at a restaurant.
Yeah.
The Rock Bar. And oh my God, that was the first place we experienced Doritos mac and cheese.
Yeah.
Which now I want that. So can you make that sometime
sounds
this
amazing.
week? Oh my God, girl, it was so good. So they literally put mac and cheese in this like hot skillet thing, and then they put crushed Doritos on top,
and then bake it,
and then like baked it for a little bit, and then put some full
and then they serve
Dorito chips in it, so that like you can kind of like
they serve it with Doritos like along the side.
Yeah. Oh my
God. Like a dip.
No, so it's really just like the mac and cheese, but like you can dip the few full size chips that they give you. Oh, and we have Doritos.
Yeah, but that's for the hospital staff.
We can get more. So I bought treats for I bought snacks for the hospital for when we go and have this baby.
I mean, if you eat them and bring them, they're still in the hospital.
Hey, well, yeah.
No, she's gonna want the Doritos Mac tomorrow.
Yeah, sometime this week, soon, because now we talked about it and it sounds good. So anyway, so we met at that bar, the bar restaurant, and then now it's me, my sister, and this dude that my sister met. And
I looked at Keith that would be our luck. That would be our luck that these two girls show up with a random guy. Oh, who's this guy? Oh, we just met him. Of course you did. Not like you knew him. Not like he's part of your trip and wasn't at Tris. No. You just met him at the ice bar.
Right. And so then me and my sister, so that guy then, he actually his flight was in a couple hours.
Well, also, Keith, when they're there and we're all talking, Keith out of nowhere loses his voice.
Yeah.
Just becomes almost a mute. So now I have to do the talking for the both of us.
Yeah.
On both of them.
And Tony and Matt are there, but they're not really talking.
No, they're not they're not at all.
Well, and then at one point they left to go gamble
because they wanted. Well, they didn't even want to go from the ice bar to there because they really wanted to gamble, especially since this was our last night.
Right.
So they were just focused on gambling.
Yeah.
And we didn't gamble except with women. So we wanted to meet you guys up.
Yeah.
And the only reason they came is because the restaurant was in our hotel, and they were planning to eat and then gamble there. And we're like, well, we're gonna kind of eat, but we're really just coming to meet these chicks.
Yeah.
And then so you guys come, and then he loses his voice completely.
Yeah.
So I have to do the talking for the both of us.
Right.
Are y'all talking literally, or he just got shy all of a sudden?
No. Literally, he could
laryngitis.
not. Yeah,
couldn't speak.
He couldn't speak.
Oh my God.
He couldn't get a word out.
He wasn't sick.
Nope.
It's
it
the
was
ice.
Yeah.
It had to have been. It had
something.
to have been. But he couldn't talk at all. He tried, and then he would start coughing or he couldn't
if
talk.
He did, it was hard to understand him because it was just this.
And you know what?
It
had to have been the ice because it was only at that first when we were there at the restaurant. Because then when
he needs more vodka.
Right, Captain. We were drinking Captain.
Was our drink. So I was doing all the talking, and then we had a lot in common from working at the grocery, working grocery from at 15 to being the youngest, like in our like careers.
Yeah.
And so we had a lot in common. So the conversation, even though I had to do,
just gravitated
right.
toward each other anyway.
Yeah.
Like,
and then of course, because Angie had brought sand to the beach, and she had this dude that she was talking to.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Oh, well, I'm leaving in the morning, so I'm going back to my hotel."
Yeah.
And then Angie's like, "Oh, okay, I'll walk you back."
Well, and again, we went to Vegas every year.
Right.
And we never, ever, ever separated from each other. Like, that was like, that was our one rule. Like, you it probably wasn't the smartest thing for me to stay behind with two dudes that we've only met, like, we're meeting for the second time, but then we met in Vegas.
And they're from Miami.
And she's leaving to go with this guy that she literally met an hour before. Right. Like, that was totally just not something we do. And we broke the rule. And
then we get kicked out of Rock Bar because they're closing.
Right. And so then literally we have nowhere to go. And so
Keith and I threw up the Hail Mary.
It worked.
And we're
I like
it worked,
alcohol.
But I mean, I didn't think it was going to work at all. Keith and I were like, what are we going to do now? Like she's by herself. She's not going to want to leave. Right. There's really nothing to do around here. So we're like, hey, we're staying in this hotel. Want to come up to the room? While, of course that's not going to work.
And everything in me should have said no.
But we're like, let's keep this party going. We'll buy a bottle over here at the, the little store they have in the casino. We'll buy a bottle of Captain and we'll go up to the room and wait for your sister. And so shockingly to both me and Keith, she's like, yes. Okay.
Dumbass.
And then Keith and I were left with like not knowing how to answer because for sure it was going to be a no.
Oh my God.
Like when you just throw it out there, but you know it's going to be knocked down, but you just throw it out anyway.
How about how you guys set me up?
What are you talking about?
By taking a picture of you guys coming down the escalator so that you guys can talk about your plan.
So we had to buy time because we didn't know what to do. So Keith was like, listen, we really want this picture of us coming down the escalator and we haven't had time to do it. So can you take this picture for us? And she was like, okay, yeah, I'll take it. We were like, okay, wait down here. We're going to go up and then come down.
Just so they could
So on the way up, we're like, what are we going to do? Like what now?
It's two guys and one girl in a room.
Right. The odds are not in our favor. What are we going to do? You don't look at me and I don't look at you type deal. What's going on? Because we're cool, but we're not that cool. Like, what happens here? I've seen
the Eiffel Tower.
Right. I've seen them. So the thing is, I've seen how these situations end, but I don't know how they get it to that situation.
Right.
So like, what do we do? He's like, you know what? Let's just go buy a bottle and we'll go back to the room. Maybe she'll come with this, that. So yeah. So we schemed and then we threw it out there, and she's like, yeah, sure. And we're like, oh my God, that worked. Like, man, not only do white girls separate, but they're down to go upstairs.
No, not typically. But I had a lapse in judgment.
Working fine so far.
So then we went up there, and then we were literally we friended each other on Facebook. We were talking about random shit. We were having a couple drinks
because it was going so smooth, but there was no plan of act. There was no this is what we do. This is what we do. This I've never
literally nothing happened. There wasn't even
nothing.
A kiss.
And then of course I was like, okay, well, how do we start this? I'm like, oh, you have tattoos. So then she took off her shirt, and I'm like, okay, well, clearly that worked.
Yeah, but I had a tank top on.
Yes,
so
you did have a tank top, but hey, we already got one layer.
Shirt.
We got one layer off. That's we're on our way now. Now
that's
we're on our way.
Literally all you got.
I didn't know what we were gonna do past the door, and then I got one layer off, and then now I'm taking my shirt off, and I'm like, okay, this is how it works. And then Keith is showing his tattoos.
Keith literally got a picture of us both laying on the bed in our tank tops.
Right, we were looking for each other on Facebook.
Yeah.
And then Angie calls you.
Yeah, and then Angie calls because she sent that guy off to the airport. And so then she was done. So then she came up to the hotel. And again, it was just literally more talking.
Right. And then it's because it's four of us.
Yeah.
And now how does that work?
Yeah.
There's no room divider.
Nothing.
We're staying in the same room.
We literally talked and then
and then we walked you guys back.
The walk of shame, but there was no reason
there was no shame because we
didn't do anything.
No. And we were walking with you.
Right.
And we were walking with you. Yeah.
Which was nice because if you've ever, you haven't because you went as a kid, walking in Vegas at 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning is real creepy Like it looks like a completely different.
Yeah, you get it
Vegas.
looks like behind the scenes.
Yeah, there's like
They're like cleaning
joggers.
Right, there's joggers, and then they're like the street sweepers,
And then
there's
there's,
people
like
going to work.
And there's like the people who shouldn't still be out,
Right.
and the people who are like clearly on something.
And then us.
Yeah. And I'm still like in my sparkly top from clearly the night before.
And we're still in our tuxedo t-shirts.
Yeah.
Because that was the
You
thing.
wore tuxedo suits to an ice bar?
No, so our plan was t-shirts
that look like tuxedos.
Yeah, so
Oh my god.
So since we were
guys.
souvenir shopping, we came across these tuxedo t-shirts that said Las Vegas on the lapel, and we're like, we totally have to wear these tonight when we go out. Wherever we go, we just have to wear these. And so we had gotten stuff. People were thinking we were a bachelor party. So then we kind of went with it for a few bars, and yeah, each one of us was a groom at one stop, so we would get the free drinks. Yeah.
So then you walked us back, and then we started talking. We kept talking. We both left that day back home. So I went back to Colorado, and then you went back to Miami.
Yep.
And then he like kind of texted me throughout the week. And then we started talking, and then we started talking a lot.
Those 3-hour talks.
Yeah, right? Which you don't
phone.
do anymore unless it's like, you know, someone you really like. Yeah, so then I went and visited him like...
So that was obviously June 6th, because that's our anniversary. And then at the beginning of August, you came for the first visit.
Yes.
And then at the end of August, I went.
And you visited me in Colorado.
For the first visit.
And then we were long distance for 2 years.
Then I moved up there.
That's a long time.
Yeah, it was fucking rough. Yeah. It was really, really hard.
And only one breakup in that.
Yeah.
Only one
For
time.
a couple months. Yeah. John got cold feet.
Yeah.
He wasn't ready.
I didn't know you were planning.
Moving.
Well, I didn't. Right. I wasn't. I was like so.
He's
like,
Mr. Miami.
I'm not moving.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not gonna move. And I'm like, so I was like, well, if I'm thinking that I'm not gonna move, clearly she's not gonna move. Not knowing that you were already like talking to people about, man, I think I might move out there.
Yeah. Because I had to get rid of like the what if, because he was the most like the best candidate I had so far. So I was like, I can't like just throw this away. I gotta like try it. Aww. And then he broke up with me.
Right, because I was like, I'm not moving, and she's not gonna move. I'm like, we can't be we were already like a year in.
Yeah, about a year. Yeah.
And I'm like, what are we doing? We're just gonna be visiting for how long? I can't be paying these flights all the time.
Expensive.
And then it was like before meeting you, I was going to Cuba because my family was in Cuba, and I was going to see my family every year. But now I'm not because I was visiting you.
Yeah.
So I was like, we can't keep doing this. Yeah. Like long. I'm clearly not moving. So you must not be moving. Yeah. So yeah, I decided to end it, and then. But we kind of stayed talking.
Yeah.
As friends.
On and off. Yeah, here and there.
Yeah. And then that just kind of came,
Yeah.
Came back.
Started up again, and then eventually.
We're celebrating our 10-year.
Yeah.
Of knowing each other.
Yeah.
And so 7 years married.
Yeah, 2 years long distance, and then we were like 5 years in Colorado. Mm-hmm. And then we just moved here 2 years ago. Almost 3 years in August. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, so that's
our story.
A long, short version.
Yeah. Long story long.
Right.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Pretty
10
crazy.
years is awesome.
Yeah. No, I can't believe it. Cause like, again, my longest relationship before him was like, I think 6 months, and I was like 17. So
my longest relationship was 5 years of 6-month spurts.
Yeah. Of like on and off, on and off.
on and off, on and off, on and off.
Yeah.
Where friends are tired of hearing you, oh, you're back with her again.
Right, yeah.
And I'm sure her friends were tired of hearing, oh, let me guess, you're back with him?
Yeah.
One of those.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was one of those. So yeah.
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Child number 2 on the way.
On the way.
He's
so exciting.
It's crazy. So, Stephanie, how
that's right. We have a guest.
Yeah, right.
Enough about us.
Right. How did we meet? Do you remember?
Well, we were just talking about random stuff, like in that mom with the laser group.
Yeah.
With a laser. A laser? Yes.
Yeah, that mom with a laser.
Yeah, I was like, I said the, and I was like, oh no, I messed it up already.
Emily's.
But
but yeah,
so
we
then
were talking about... she slid into my DMs.
Uh-oh.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think so
Did she send nudes?
No. Oh. But she does. She does.
I don't know how to
This isn't
slide
like a
in
good
DMs.
like what do you call it, like transition. But she does pole dance.
Yes.
But like for like not as a side hustle.
Not
No.
professionally, but like I work for the studio, but
that's
not like
professional.
as an instructor
You
or
get
anything.
paid?
No.
Oh.
I do like website stuff and like photos and everything.
Oh, so
and
you got
then,
an OnlyFans?
No. I'm not built for that. Okay.
I mean, everyone's built for that. There's
That's
a
true.
category. There's a category
Are you
for
built
everyone.
totally
for
a
that?
market for.
Am I built for that?
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure. Listen, not in the straight category, but I'm a bear.
Yeah.
I'm a bear.
Totally.
And dudes would pay to see me. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So yes, I am built for that.
Riley Black on OnlyFans.
Right.
Riley Black After Dark.
Oh.
Yes.
That's right.
Oh, now she got ideas.
Right. Like
Yeah. Another revenue stream.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were just talking in the groups. I mean, much like, so very similar to like Heather and Cindy, like you, there's always like the same statuses that like, or posts that you like gravitate towards.
Mm-hmm.
And there's always those same kind of people who have like a similar like humor
Right.
or whatever. And then, so then, yeah, she slid into my DMs. Then we would talk every once in a while about just like random stuff, projects, someone stealing her shit, like her ideas and or her photos.
What?
That could, oh yeah, it happens all the
That
time.
happens.
No, I know I'm being sarcastic.
Oh, okay. You played that off pretty well.
Yeah,
Even I believed you. Yeah. So, and then one day, like, it was probably several weeks. And then one day she was like, I'm sending you a friend request. I was like,
Okay.
she's like, you don't have to accept it, but I'm sending you one. And I mean, I don't, like, I get tons of them all the time. And I rarely accept them just because, I mean, it has a couple times been like a little weird. No, just weird because then it'll kind of come out that like that person is one of those people who like traces Google images and sells files. And now it's awkward because you're my friend on Facebook and now I have to kick you out of the group and like unfriend you and
Kick
you know what I mean?
Right.
So
That
like,
has happened?
oh yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. So like I have to like vet people before they like become like a laser friend like for real on my Facebook. Like I have several of them. I probably have, I don't know, 10 to 15 or so, but like it's a small number. And just because again
4.
it like and it like you have to you don't approve everybody. I don't know if you get a bunch of friend requests.
All the time.
See, yeah. So I didn't know if it was just like because I was like admin of a million groups or whatever, but yeah. So and most of them like I feel bad, but I'm like sorry, can't. So but yeah, she was
So
like,
if you haven't gotten a friend request, don't take it personal.
right.
Or you haven't accepted.
Yeah, don't take it personal. Yeah, because it's unless I'm like talking
like your
to on a
kids and
regular
everything
basis.
too.
Exactly. Like, because, like, yeah, there's legit, like, personal stuff on Facebook that, you know, like, I only choose to share so much with the groups. And then there's stuff that, like, yeah, is obviously, like, private. But, yeah, so that's how we met. And then one of the things we started talking about a lot was she was struggling with, she has way too many fucking things to do. She's too many jobs. She's like, she had a million, like, she had one full-time and then she had like a million, like, part-time or a little bit more than part-time jobs.
So what did you do?
2 part-times.
So what did you do?
So I was a food safety specialist and a sushi trainer, but I had to travel from like New Jersey to New York to Pennsylvania. It was complete chaos. And then
so
like
you were a
COVID
hitman
happened.
for the mob.
Yeah, well, essentially. But I just had to travel around and like check like, you know, ShopRite is like how Publix is down there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the big grocery stores. I had to go and check if their sushi was okay, if the Chinese food was okay, like temperature wise, safety checks, stuff like that. But what was really crazy about that job is that I don't speak Chinese very well. Like I understand it, but I don't speak it very well. So I had to communicate in like broken Spanish because they all speak Spanish.
Really?
Huh.
Yes.
Huh.
all the Chinese people speak Spanish. It's like the strangest, like something about immigration. Like they actually immigrate through South America and then come up
Oh,
here.
that makes
Oh.
sense now.
So they
Yeah.
all speak Spanish, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I actually speak that better than Chinese. So here we go.
I'm
Right,
over here
perfect.
thinking like, is it because we like Chinese food? 'Cause, I mean, I fuck with the Chinese food.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, and now I want sushi, so
No, hey.
add that to the
I
list.
mean,
this
we always
week.
want sushi.
That's true. It's rare that I don't want sushi.
Sushi's great.
It is.
We'll like Skype and roll some sushi sometime.
Yes, I'm down.
Roll up.
Well, so she was struggling, like, balancing all of it, and then she also had, like, some health stuff going on, and she was like, I don't know what to do. She's like, I really want to quit these, like, 1 or 2 jobs, and she's like, I can't take that plunge. And the podcast was still pretty new. We were only a couple episodes in, and I was talking about how I quit my job of 12 years to pursue, like my
Riley Black,
my
yeah.
own business. Yeah. And I was like, listen to episode 1. I don't know if podcasts are your thing, but listen to episode 1 and just like,
And get back to me.
yeah. And just like hope maybe that will kind of like help you make sense of things. 'Cause
Right.
like you won't have time to do what you want to do if you're doing everyone else's dream.
Right.
So, yeah, so she listened to it, and then she literally messaged me, like, the next day and was like, okay, I think I'm ready to quit, like, 2
So
jobs.
what was like the turning point for you?
I honestly had a mental breakdown. Like I was working 3 jobs. So it was the 1 full-time, I had 2 part-time gigs, and I was working for the studio because I wanted to pay my
OnlyFans.
tuition. So yeah, OnlyFans.
Oh, and she wanted to pay for her tuition? You were totally a stripper. I'm from Miami. I've heard this story before. Oh, I'm a dancer trying to pay my way through school.
Oh my god.
Were you going to be a dentist?
That's so funny.
No, my tuition for class, like for pole classes. So
Oh,
yeah,
for the industry. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
I
you were
was
going to be a
like, what are you
professional.
talking
Okay.
Oh my god.
That's funny.
But yeah, I had like a mental breakdown. Like I couldn't get out of bed this one day because I was just like, I'm so overworked. I called out of work and I just laid there and cried and like I could not get up. And my husband was like, this is too much.
Yeah,
like he
this
was
isn't
home
working.
from work too, and he's like,
Yeah.
this is too much on you.
Yeah.
So like,
When I asked a couple
kinda-
questions, I was like, can your husband support you, like, financially without these jobs? And
Yeah.
like, cause it's honestly
willing
question,
to.
right? Exactly. And I'm sure I asked that too. Like, but that's question number 1 is like, can you physically, like, financially support your household without this extra stuff? And like, if the answer is yes, then like, okay, that's the biggest part. And then the second part is like, what are you gonna lose? Like, how is this like helping your long-term goal? What are your long-term goals? Like that kind of stuff. And so, she really wanted to focus more on her laser and doll stuff, which she'll talk about. And like this stuff was just taking her away from all of that. And technically she didn't like really need the money. So like all this stress was kind of like not really worth it.
Right.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
and like during normal times, like non-coronavirus times, it was doable.
Yeah.
But like now I have like virtual school. My daughter hasn't been to school in a year.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
So we've been doing all virtual school. I have to deal with that and my son. And then I was taking my son to work. And I mean,
Yeah.
it was amazing that they let me, but
Right,
like I
yeah.
literally developed like a tennis and golf elbow in one arm
Yeah.
because I was carrying him around,
Yeah.
his fat ass, all the time.
Yeah.
And it was crazy. So it was too much.
Yeah.
And I needed to stop.
Yeah.
And I'm
just
happily
needed
playing
that,
with
like,
dolls and
push.
stuff now.
Yeah. Yeah. So what are, how did you like get into like the laser side of things? Like, have you, like most of us, have you always been crafty and it just kind of like morphed into laser, or?
Did you have a cricket?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I am a cricketer.
Did you have a cricket?
I was a cricket first. It's like the gateway to lasers.
It totally is. Vinyl is totally.
I don't do the typical vinyl stuff. So,
Yeah.
basically, my daughter got her first American Girl doll in like January of 2018, and she, like she was like what 4.5, almost 5. She may have been 5. I might be a bad mom. I can't remember.
Terrible. What age do they get?
4 or 5.
Yeah.
But she colored on this doll because she was like, I want to do makeup on it, but these dolls are really fucking expensive. So I was like, oh God. And I'm like, my client had a cricket in her house, like brand new in box and stuff. And I was like walking out the house, she's paying me tuition. And it was about to be Christmas. Like it was December when this happened. And I was like, I've always wanted one of those. Like those are really cool. How do you like it? And she's like, I've never opened it. It's been sitting in the box for 2 months. So she was like, take it as your Christmas bonus.
Nice.
And I was like, oh my God. So in January, my daughter colored on her doll, and I was like, I can make makeup for them. Like I can try to like trace the shape or whatever. So I actually ended up hand cutting out a bunch of shapes with like cardstock and scanning them into the computer. Cause like I had no design knowledge. I've always been crafty, but this is a completely different thing. So I like scan it in. I'm using like Microsoft Word. I'm using like GIMP. Do you know GIMP?
Yes.
Oh, it's the worst. But I use GIMP, and I created eyeliner for dolls and like expanded it into a full cosmetics line. Like did eyelashes, eyebrows. Like it was just weird and crazy. So I'm still doing that. That's actually like half my income currently.
That's awesome.
So I was doing that on top of all my food safety shit. And I was a piano teacher at the time.
And
awesome.
Okay, Jesus Christ, Stephanie.
Yeah, I had 28 students.
Damn.
No, this was in Georgia. This was in Georgia before I moved up. Let me clarify. So that was like what I was doing before. And then I wanted to try to make a crib for like a little baby. And I used chipboard on the cricket.
Right.
And like piece that
for
together.
For a real baby or for an American doll baby?
For the American doll baby.
American Girl doll baby.
I was going to say. Like, you're making a crib. I think you have to have, like...
Oh, hell no. That's, like,
safety
regulations.
Yeah, like, no...
Compliance.
Right, yeah.
But, yeah, that was, like, my gateway thing. It was a cricket and, like, building that little crib. And I was like, I really want to try this laser thing. Because I think, like, Glowforge was Kickstarter or something. Or it was, like, freshly off of that. So, like, there were commercials everywhere. And I'm like, I really want to do this. But I didn't do it because I was doing too much already.
Yeah.
As usual, always doing too much. So then my uncle was like, hey, you want to come up here and like do sushi stuff and like be close to your family? Because my family had moved up here like 2 years before. So I was like, well, I guess I've never done it before. I was teaching piano for 9 years in Atlanta. So this was like a complete shift.
Right. Yeah. A little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a classically trained pianist. Like, I studied in Moscow, Russia. So this was like, I'm like,
Das
completely like, yeah. So I traveled. Dos Vidania.
I don't know what I
heard that in a movie.
You heard it out of Anastasia, didn't you?
No, it was like an action movie. It was like Das Vidania, bitch, and like shot them or something. I think does it mean goodbye or something?
Yes.
Oh, see? There you go. Context clues. I learned that in school.
Oh my god.
No, but like I moved up here and wanted to do the sushi thing, or like wanted to try it, I guess. Yeah. So I was like, okay, like this is a career shift, and my husband's working for Carvana, and
nice.
Yeah, so like he like delivers cars and stuff, but like we make more up here, but I mean the cost of living is also higher, so I don't know that it helped.
Yeah.
And then, so we were living in the apartment, and I saw the Glowforge thing again, and I was like, I really think that I could try this. But it was like, I went for the Pro. Like, I went for the Glowforge Pro immediately. Because I'm like, I want to cut giant things.
Right.
And my husband, like, always supports me in my crazy things. I was like, I'll make the money back really fast. And he's like, oh, okay, whatever at this point. So, like, we're in an apartment, and I'm venting the sucker out the window. Like, it sounds like an airplane. Like, it's just, it was crazy. And I'm so glad, like, our landlord came in once and was like, oh, what's that? And I'm like, it's like a cutter thingy.
It's
like,
a printer.
I completely downplayed it.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, that's cool.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine that out of home. I couldn't imagine that in an apartment.
So you
Oh
do,
my god, it was crazy.
so you do stuff for American dolls?
Girl.
American
Well,
Girl
so
dolls?
she makes like accessories,
Right.
and stuff. Yeah,
But is that your
They
lane?
they just had.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't really know yet. Like I don't know who I am as an
She's still
artist
figuring it
because
out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like
yeah,
she does
that's
kind of like a lot of little things, but like she clearly does have like a good eye for it, cuz like her pictures are really good. Like the the cribs, like every single time she posts, like it gets like a lot of attention just because it's like it's good in some way.
Okay.
And the her doll stuff is cool because it's like it's the what do you call it, a miniature artist. And so like anything that's like miniature is like cool, that
Right,
you
yeah.
know what I mean, just it being small like
Right,
adds a whole
yeah,
nother
for
level
sure.
of like cool to it. And so every time she posts like her miniature stuff, like it gets a lot of attention. Like one of them that I really loved was she did like, you know, those name signs that like like it has their name and
it's
it's like
Emily's.
round. And you know, have like, yeah, she did a mini version of Emily's. Didn't you do one with like a flamingo too, or something like that?
Yes,
Yeah. So
name
anyway,
rounds.
like when she has it with all of the like the miniature like setup, you can't tell it's miniature. Like the picture, in the picture, it looks
Actual size.
like a 20-inch
Right.
round sign
Do you get
that we
people
all
trying
make.
to do you get people trying to order them thinking it's actual size, not miniature?
Yes, I actually use them to stage all the time because it's cost efficient. Like
Yeah,
I
it's a
just
whole
use
lot
a
less
little piece
material.
of material.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so then she'll like zoom out and like give you something for like size reference, and you're like, holy shit, that's a tiny little sign.
Right.
And so like it's just like she makes cool stuff,
Right.
but like she's kind of at the point where I was when I first got my laser, of like figuring out what I like to make, and like it's still it will always shift.
Yeah.
Like because it's still shifting into what I enjoy making and what I actually like do and all that stuff. So like she'll find what she likes to do which one of them, you do really enjoy doing the doll stuff, right?
Yeah, so okay, so this is kind of I don't know, there's a couple answers to this. I enjoy it, but like I've told you before, I don't enjoy making the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of at the point right now where I'm like, I offer 4 styles of cribs. And the reason why I'm like concentrating on cribs right now is because American Girl just dropped this like tiny 8-inch baby. So I'm like riding on the hype.
Okay.
It's selling well right now because this baby was just released.
Right.
So I'm getting that. But then now I'm also getting a weird market of reborn. Have you heard of that? Like reborn babies? They're like really, really real looking babies.
Oh,
They
yes,
feel like real
I've
babies.
seen those before. Yeah.
They have real hair and everything.
Oh, that sounds like borderline creepy.
Well,
Yeah,
so
Are they to help?
I've heard about them sometimes with like people who've lost.
That's what I was
Yeah.
about to say. Is it to help people who've lost babies?
Sometimes, but sometimes it's
Sometimes.
literally just people who like dolls, and it's just another like version of like
Yeah.
dolls.
There are collectors too
Yeah.
that haven't like lost. So I mean, now I'm finding out that there are mini reborn dolls, like 8-inch. So my cribs are being bought for those too. And like frankly, I'm thankful for this market because the cribs I released like 2 months ago, and I've almost paid off my new laser. Like my
Nice.
Mira's landing this month,
That's awesome.
and this thing has almost paid it off. So I'm like,
Yeah, I paid
okay,
off
I'm
mine
thankful
before
for
it showed
that.
up too, so it
Yay!
was, yeah, it was awesome.
Of
Yeah.
course you did.
Not really, of course. Like I had a very, I don't know if I'll ever do as good as I did last July. It was July or
Oh, was
August.
it the dick ornaments?
Well,
It was a combination of
So-
that and bands.
it was just, I don't like,
And it was
so I
like-
had a really good, I think I had a really good design month. So my file shop was super new, and I think I ran like my first sale in my shop, and I was doing really good. I was like releasing 2 or 3 new files every single week. And so I was
wow.
like, I think I had 50 to 100 files in my shop. And so I literally had the
Moly.
best month that I've had like ever. And
Yeah,
then I
'cause
was
you
also
would-
doing really well with like the physical items too. And so it was just like
killing it.
Yeah, it was just a combination of like things were just really, really working that month. I have not done that well since since that month. Like I'm making about half of that
but
now.
I think it was also because you had the pressure on yourself.
Totally.
That
of the
this
machine.
laser's coming and I have to figure out a way to pay for it.
I was terrified of like having to pay 11 grand.
Right, out of pocket, yeah.
Well, and because I had enough so the Goldforge had pissed me off, and so I like I put down, because I had enough for 50%, which is like 5,500, and then I only had like 1,000 left over, and I was like, well, fuck, now I have to come up with another 5,500 plus, because I can't completely deplete my business account because I have like bills.
Right.
Like I have like reoccurring, I don't have very many, but I have reoccurring like, subscriptions, like my Shopify and like that kind of stuff. And so I had to like, so I think it was like the combination of like just everything was going right, and I was like busting my ass and had a really good month, which again, I have not had a month like that since, but thankfully I paid off my laser like several months before I even got it. So that made it a lot less scary too, because it wasn't like, now I have this super expensive thing and I have to figure it out and like pay. Now I have to, make money off of it to like pay it off.
So what's the competition in the miniature American Girl style? Like what's that comp like?
I mean, right now for American Girl, frankly, I'm the only person doing this, like,
nice,
the cribs for the babies right now. Like, it's the same thing with the makeup. I kind of created my market.
Yeah, well, there are people who are trying to get a chunk of it.
Yes,
but not very well.
Really hard.
Expect more.
So far, yeah.
Expect more after Monday.
Right.
Oh no!
Stop.
Don't come for me, guys.
Right.
No, it's a niche thing.
Yeah.
So like success is based on like if you're able to advertise it. Also, like I've already had my account for a while, so like I'm nearing 6,000 followers for my doll makeup business, and I kind of smashed this into it.
Yeah.
So that's why I have like a small market for that.
Yeah.
So I don't know that this is what I want to do forever.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, I'm like moving into like the file stuff, and I know you're gonna be like, you didn't post it. I'm sorry.
So I'm doing what
miniature
Heather.
File?
Well, so I
stick to miniatures.
I'm doing what Heather did to me with my Etsy, was like, set up your fucking Etsy, like do it like now. And I kept like being scared, and I kept putting it off, and like
that's me.
That's Stephanie now, because I'm like, if you don't fucking post it, it's about to be midnight. Like, go post your shit.
Right.
And she's like terrified, which I get it, because I was totally there. Like you're just. It's unknown, and so you're like scared, and like you're opening yourself up to like a new market, which means new customers and whatever.
Reviews
and like and like just unfortunately some of her stuff does require like kerf adjustments, and
I'm not gonna be offering those shits.
Yeah,
you heard it here.
Yeah. And so like just little things like that, even if it doesn't require kerf adjustments, like I've had people struggle with things that they shouldn't struggle with, because again, some people come from like the vinyl industry, and so they don't know simple basic design stuff. So they don't know how to, I can't even, my brain is like completely going blank of like
adjust things.
The things. Yeah, it's just, they can't, if they want to make it an inch bigger, they can't. If they want to make it an inch smaller,
right? They just go by what the file is,
and so
they can't manipulate
or
it.
They'll try to make it smaller and then not make the entire file smaller, and so now something doesn't work, and now it's my problem,
right?
So anyway, so like you run into those issues with people who are
user
literally
error.
they only know how to buy files, but they don't know how to adjust them should they need something adjusted. And so like it does add this extra like anxiety and stress of, whatever, just unhappy people for whatever reason. But Heather would always like push me and like, just list your shit, just do it, just like just do it. Right. So Stephanie, is your Etsy like up and you're just not advertising it, or is it not even like up?
I have all the files done. and I just haven't listed them because I'm literally so paralyzed. And people are like, I just got a message the other day that's like, I bookmarked your thing from a long time ago. It disappeared, but I screenshotted it. And like, where's this file
People
for this
are
ornament?
waiting. Like, just
I know, and I
you
feel bad.
gotta. You gotta do. I'm
You gotta do it.
gonna keep
Just do
bugging you.
it.
You're gonna like block me in your messenger because you're gonna be so annoyed by me.
No,
But like,
well, my husband's annoyed at me too. So he's like, get it up there, like do it.
Yes.
So this is the week. Like
Good.
maybe I'll even get off the phone with you right now and just
Yes.
list them, and then that
Well,
way
not
on
right now.
Saturday.
Not right now. We still have another like 20 minutes to fill.
I'm saying after
Yeah.
this.
Okay. Just making sure.
But
I'm
like,
a night owl.
yeah, same. And that's another thing that's kind of like helped fuel the friendship is like we're always up late at this time talking about like what we're making, what we did make, like who annoyed us that day,
Right.
whatever. And so I know when I started, I was mad that I didn't start before, but I don't know that I was really ready. Like, sure, I had designs that people were like attracted to, but I didn't know the laser well enough to like be confident in selling a good file, because there are people who sell really crappy files
Right.
because they just jump into it because they see it as like something that's that's clearly making people money.
Right.
But they
Yeah.
don't
So I'll just
give
create it
quality,
without testing it.
Yes, without testing it or traced Google images
Oh,
or
God, I hate that.
like unclean lines, or like when you zoom in they're like super jagged, you know, just that kind of
Just
stuff.
jumping into the marketplace.
Exactly, jumping in when they probably should have
Right.
a little bit more experience. And
Yeah.
so it was a good time for me, and I still learn stuff and I still adjust things like as I see like what works better. But I was mad that I kind of didn't start before because it turned into what I actually really enjoy doing. It's perfect for me because like I can make things a couple times before I get sick of it.
You sound like me.
Yeah. And so it works because like I can test the file, and then because I attempted like the testers, which every once in a while will still work. Like if I really don't want to make it, or
And that's getting somebody else to make it.
yes. And so it's making the file but having someone else test it for
Right.
you. But with this lovely thing called anxiety, I get this weird anxiety of giving someone a file for free. So you're giving it to them for free. It's
Right.
like it's like the give or take in
Right,
the
right.
relationship. Well, but then I feel bad, like if it doesn't work for some reason, then I feel guilty that they've wasted their materials, which is what they
Yeah.
sign up for,
Right, to
being a
test.
tester.
Right.
But
To be a
like
tester,
still, I feel like bad, like, oh, I should have known that that would be too small or whatever. And then I've run into like people who sign up to be testers that probably shouldn't because they don't have
don't,
the
right.
experience. And so then
Oh,
I'm
boy.
having to like teach them when I'm looking for testers because I need less work.
Right.
Like I'm
Yeah.
totally like I will help anybody, but when it comes to something like that, it's like that's not what I need
Right.
from this
I'm
situation.
outsourcing this, so I don't have to do it. I could do it myself if this was the case.
Right. And I'm a perfectionist, and so sometimes like if like because then it's usually in exchange for pictures as well for the file. But then like if I don't love how they took the picture
Right.
or what they
Right.
put in the picture, and it gave me more anxiety of people testing it than it really was worth the payoff, which
Right.
again, there will still be situations in the future where it'll work, and I've actually found a couple people that I really love what they did with it, and so there'll be people that I'll reach out to again, like, hey, I got this file, do you want to test it?
Sort of that you trust.
Yeah, because I've already worked with them. But, yeah, so I've realized that I like designing it. I like making it once. I don't love taking the pictures and listing it. That's always the part that sucks. But yeah, I don't want to make 500 of them. That's not what I find joy in at all. So, like, and I thought at one point I was like, oh, I could sell, like, in theory it sounded great to sell blanks, or those
Yeah.
DIY kits.
Oh, right. I remember those
Yeah,
DIY
and I was
kits.
like, oh, they're money makers. You don't have to paint them. There's not. Fuck that shit. That sucked. I offered them for 1 month, and I haven't done them since.
I remember you
The
were super excited about it.
Well, I mean, the pregnancy did kind of ruin it. I think that kind of like took the sales out of the DIY thing. But like, so me not doing the DIY stuff is also why I haven't done what a couple people have suggested, which is those file subscription things that's like popular right now.
Yeah, I see that happening.
I can't deal with the pressure of having to have something every single month or every single week, or
for the
I've realized that I don't do well with that, because then like creatively I often shut down. Because now I have to produce something that has to be amazing.
Right.
And sometimes I'll produce, again, you never know what's going to be like that thing that takes off. Like sometimes you make something and you're like, this is super stupid, like whatever. And then you list it and it's like super popular. And you're like, really?
Yeah.
That's dumb, but it's popular. And then
Those are the tooth boxes.
Yeah. Well, and then like the thing that you think is going to be like the next best, like, bestseller, you sell like 2 of, and nothing. Like there's this baby boy milestone sign that I made that I was like super proud of. I haven't sold that file once. Not fucking once. And it took me days. And I was like, fuck this shit. I'm cussing so much on this episode. But like, you never really know what's going to be like the it thing. And having the pressure of having like people are paying a subscription to have like this amazing file every single month. Like I can't do that.
I couldn't do it either.
Exactly. And then like, I mean, with anxiety and life, like I'll have these big plans that I'm gonna, put out all this stuff, and then 3 weeks go by and I haven't done any of that. And so I need that freedom to like let life happen and not do it. And like this podcast I'm pretty impressed by the fact that we've recorded every single week for, this is now I think 15 weeks in a row.
This might be 15, yeah.
Like, that's good
super
for
professional
us.
too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Which is not us by any means. So like I'm impressed by how well we've done with this, 'cause I just don't do well with like guidelines and rules and like you have to put something out on like this day.
Oh, right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why none of those things, in theory, they sound great. For some people, they will make a ton of money.
Right.
So like again, those DIY
and some
kits.
people need that kind of structure of that.
This
is what I make.
Work
this is what
for
I
me.
do. Yeah.
I need the like, this sounds cool, let me go make it.
Right.
Yeah.
And see what sticks. So that's why so that's why file selling has done so well, and I think it'll do really well with you too, because I mean every time you post, like are you selling the file? Are you selling the file? I would love the file. So like I know I know that you'll do well. It's just getting over the anxiety of actually just doing it. Yeah.
This is the week.
You got this. And again, like you don't, there's things that you won't learn until you do them. Like you'll get your first like person who had an issue that may not even be like your fault. It's just like, oh, I know that I can do this differently to hopefully prevent this confusion in the future or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the reason that I have 14 places that it tells them that it's a digital file and it's not a physical item. Oh my God. Thankfully, it's like rare now though. It really is like
that's
rare,
good.
but it still happens. But yeah, it's like, I mean, trial and error. It was like first, then I added it to my pictures. Well, it was always in my description, but that wasn't enough. So then I added it to my titles, and then that wasn't enough. So then I added it to the pictures. Still wasn't enough. And then I added the personalization. Wasn't enough.
Still not enough.
Initials.
Then I had to change it to 3 characters.
Right.
Not enough. Like it just, but like all of those things were just learning by having someone who shows you there's still a gap.
Yes.
Like, fuck. Yeah. So, and again, I mean, it literally changes monthly of like where you're going, like what's interesting. I switch, like for the longest time I was doing watch band designs, and then those kind of like fizzled out, which those
Apple
are
helped
still,
that.
yeah, but they're still one of my best sellers, which is crazy to
Well,
me. I
because it's
really
the
should
design
be,
and not the
yeah, and
yeah.
they can go on. They don't just have to go on Apple. They can
Right,
go
right.
on
That's
like
what I mean.
Samsung.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I mean. They're just band designs.
So the band designs are still doing really well. I've been doing like a lot of drink stirs. Those are fun. I like those because they use like only a little bit of material.
Yeah, scraps.
Yeah, and keychains. Then that morphed into its own beast because I found those clips.
Those
And
are
then-
awesome. I finally did one.
You did?
Yes, I'm gonna send you a picture.
Yes, definitely. So I was looking for those, and then there was a million people on my post who were like, I want them too. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, clearly it's not just me who's struggling to find them who also really likes them. And so then it was like, okay, let me sell these. And so, like, those are selling really well. And I went from selling just the clear ones and the mixed color ones to now I think I have 12 listings, 14 listings on my website. I don't even know how many.
Oh wow.
Because I have clear, I have the mixed, I have the ones that work for thicker materials.
I need that.
Those are great, and they're not as cute as the other ones, but they they still save you the time. They still like serve the same purpose. They're just not as cute looking because they have to work for
Use them for the masculine
thicker.
thing.
Yeah, totally. And like I use them. Okay, I use them for like when I was making those cancer ribbon keychains that I was donating.
All right.
Like I didn't
Yeah.
care if they were cute because I wasn't spending, like I wasn't getting paid. So it was like I don't, I'm not going to put all this literal time and effort into them with the jump rings and stuff when I'm not
They look
getting
cute
paid
anyway.
for this. Yeah, they
Right.
did look, I mean they looked good. They didn't like decrease it any. In my head they did.
Right.
But they didn't decrease the value any, and they
Right.
just
the amount of work.
exactly. So, yeah, I have 2 colors of the ones that work for thicker materials. And then I came up with like a mermaid set, which is a mix of the blue, green, and purple. And then I did a
Ooh.
4th of July set, which is red, clear, and blue because there's no white.
No white. Yeah.
And so, like, I mean, it's taken over our poor living room. I've been working on, like, I've been all over Amazon looking for, like, storage solutions of, like, how to store all these things. But yeah, like, this is not anything I planned on ever
Right, yeah.
doing. And it just
And
kind
here
of,
we
like, took off. So now I sell keychain thingies, have a podcast, and sell files. When that's not why
That's
I bought the
awesome.
laser at all. But it's just where you go.
So where would people go to find Stephanie? Where would they go to find you?
Okay, so I'm like completely scatterbrained. I'm on Instagram. Like my tag is Mostephinitley.
That's
Yeah.
clever.
Yeah.
That's pretty
Most
good.
definitely.
It's been my thing since middle school, and then I was like, well, I'll try to make it a business name, and now
Love
I'm
it.
like, to make it like
Oh,
spell it. People like say like, oh, I don't know how to spell it, and I'm like, oh crap, it's just definitely and like most definitely
right, yeah.
on the front. But then I'm like, oh no, maybe I messed it up. I'm still learning. So
Yeah.
like, yeah, I have an Instagram, and then I have my website, but it's like half set up as is everything else. And then for like my miniature stuff, I'm at Littlebittyhearts, and I have a website at littlebittyhearts.com where I sell all my makeup stuff and everything. And then I
Let's
also have an
do-
Etsy.
Tell us your handles again, because I think it kind of cut out.
Yeah, you had a little bit of
Yeah.
break up there on your line.
Oh, I cut out. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So
Well,
tell us your handles again. The
yeah, your
most
Instagram?
definitely.
So for my human-sized work, I'm at Most Definitely. That's spelled Mostephinitley.
Okay.
And I also have a website under the same name, and I'm doing like my Etsy as well under that.
Nice.
But like my website's like half set up because I'm doing WooCommerce. Like I don't do the Shopify thing because I don't want to pay every month. So I've had to like code my
Oh.
website and like actually
Ugh.
develop it. Yeah, it's been fair, but like now I'm in the home stretch because I'm
Yeah.
working on the personalization part where people can like
Nice.
preview their fonts and their colors and everything.
Oh.
And I don't have to pay monthly for that shit. Like I programmed it so that
Nice.
it's just on there. It's mine forever.
Yeah.
So I have that. And then for my miniature work, I'm at Littlebittyhearts, and it's just spelled just like that.
Mm-hmm.
I also have a website, littlebittyhearts.com, and my Etsy is under the same name as well. But that's like my makeup stuff. And then I have like some wholesale things, which I just started doing recently, like little shoes and
Nice.
like clothes and stuff.
Uh-huh.
I didn't know how that would do, but I've sold out a couple times. So I was like, okay,
Nice.
cool.
Nice.
It's one of those random things,
Yeah.
like you were saying, like where it's like, why am I doing this? Like I bought a laser
Right.
and I have a Cricut, and this
Yeah.
is what it became. So
Yeah. I know I sold out of
Yeah.
those keychain things, and I like every time I'd order more, and I'm like, this is gonna be the time that I don't sell out. And then someone would share something or ask where to get the keychain things, and like a post would go crazy, and then they would buy me out. And I'm like, son of a
sold out.
I'm like, I sold out 3 times, and I'm like, I'm finally like holding on strong. Like I ordered a ton. I got really good at like just ordering every week, even if I didn't like need any right then, because unfortunately it
Yeah.
comes from China and it takes freaking 2 weeks to get here.
2 weeks.
Yeah,
That's a
it
miracle.
well, right, and that's like quick considering.
Yeah.
Let me tell you though, I ordered on Thursday, and I got a package today.
Wow.
I have no
From
idea.
China?
Yes, I literally messaged my supplier, and I was like, "How?" I was like, "How is this possible?" Because normally it takes, like, on a good week, it takes like 11 days. 8 to 11 days is like that's everything followed through. Like the timing just worked perfectly. All the
Right.
planets aligned, and it's 8 to 11 days. So again, when
I'm
like
impressed.
when you sell out, if you don't have an order already coming, it's gonna be a while before you can like replenish.
Yeah.
So, so I've been like trying to like make sure I have like a regular like supply coming in, and yeah, ordered on Thursday and got it today. I was like, that I don't understand
Amazing.
how that's physically possible, but whatever.
love
I'll
you.
take it. They do. I love them back. But yeah, so just I don't know where I was going with that. Oh, the selling out. The like like I kept waiting for. I didn't want to have a million of these things and everyone got some and didn't need any more. And
Right.
now like
Yeah.
the hype is gone. But like it's definitely like kind of leveled out, but they're still doing really well, and I again never saw wholesale as like a thing.
The future.
Yeah, because I never want and like people who carry like cutting boards and all that stuff, like I don't have room for what I got now, let alone to like be selling big items to people. So this was kind of the perfect thing because they're tiny. Like
A
sure
specialty.
and I have like thousands of them, but they still don't really take up that much room. So
right.
it kind of like
Yeah.
works for
I was going to say for your organization, Dollar Tree has these like really cool stackable things that would fit those like perfectly.
Well, so I just actually got something from Amazon. It's actually like I think it's like a fruit cart. They're like fruit baskets. But there's like
Oh.
5 of them that they stack all on top of each other. And so I have like them all in those. And it's on wheels, because the thing was I needed it to like
Be mobile.
to be mobile, because I count all of them from the couch, like while I'm watching TV or whatever with my son. So, I needed my stand to be mobile because I was counting everything like from the couch while I was watching JR and stuff. But then I also needed it to move into either my office or my shipping station. And for now, it's been easier to like pack them in my office because that's where my computer is and my shipping printer and all that. And so like I needed it to go several places so that I wasn't like having to like pack it here, then print it here, then, measure it or whatever, count it over here.
Yeah.
And so it was like trying to find something that like held all these little things that wasn't like super tiny, but that was also on wheels. So it took me a minute to find something, but I actually just got it. It was like, it sucked too because it was like $75. So I'm like, if this doesn't work, this is a lot of money for it not to work, but you know, it works. So.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Cool. So is there anything that you're working on right now, Stephanie? That you...
Like currently
Opening
in
their
general,
file shop.
That you're excited. Oh, that's right. Opening your file shop is what you're doing right after this phone call. Right after this call.
You know,
right after this phone call, no pressure.
This should be your goal. This doesn't air until next Monday.
Right. So you have a week, technically.
So
I got this.
You have a week until next Monday to have your file shop ready so that when people listen to
they're
episode,
going to, and you know what? Here we go. Hey, if you're listening to this, go check out her Etsy
and see if
it's up. See if it's up.
The pressure.
And if it's not, slide into her DMs and be like, hey, what's going on with the Etsy shop? We heard you on
Why do you
the Riley
suck?
Black Project. No, not why you sucked.
No.
It's just, hey, we heard you, and we're just following protocols. What's going on? Where's that Etsy shop?
Yes.
So there you go. That's your push.
I'm gonna make it happen.
We
I'm at
pushed
least
you.
gonna get the files up.
We pushed you to quit your 15 jobs. Now we're pushing you to start your Etsy.
Right? I honestly think it'll do really well for you. Because again, like you're similar to me where you don't like, making something 100 times. And again, like I've said, I've seen the interest in your stuff. So it'll be there.
Yeah.
The people, you just have to make it available and the people will come.
If you build it, they will come.
I'm going to take the leap, and then I'm going to put in my descriptions, I'm fragile, please message me and don't leave me bad reviews.
Right?
Please.
Hey.
Give me
and people will, like, especially because you're funny, like, make it a joke. Like, hey, like, reach out to me before, like, cutting off my arm in a review. Yeah. Like, I'll, whatever. So, like.
Throw in a little character.
And I love, like, when, again, because people don't read. And so if they actually read it and then it's like funny too.
Reading
like,
is fundamental.
It is, but they don't. They just don't. I can't tell you how many times I post something and like I literally post every single detail. Like what I used, where I got it, who I bought it from, on what day. And they'll comment and be like, what is that? And where did you get it? I'm like,
nobody reads. Nobody.
In the post.
Yeah.
I know this picture says digital only, but I'm going to go ahead and purchase and say, hey, where's my
well, yeah, learn from me and put all that
everywhere.
Crap on your digital files from the beginning. Like,
yeah.
I'm telling you, because that first message you get.
Yeah. And the size. If people start making those miniatures and you want to start selling digital miniature signs.
Yeah.
That's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Oh,
which
boy.
those are harder. She did say that, like, they're
harder.
I mean, you use a lot less materials, but, like, you're dealing with these tiny little pieces and trying to get them, like, on there perfect and whatever.
Everyone was like, how do you not scorch them to pieces? But, like, I've been testing my materials and stuff.
Yeah.
So I've found the sweet spot for the tiny things.
Yeah.
But I'm actually going bigger with my miniatures. Did I tell you about that?
I don't know.
I'm moving into 24-inch dolls, like 3 feet tall. So, like,
holy crap!
Oh wait, that's 2 feet. 2 feet. I
didn't even catch it at first.
Just
I'm not cutting that out. That's staying.
Don't even cut it out because I'm a dork. So like 2 feet tall. I was like 3 feet.
Wait, that's like my son.
It's a short 3 feet. It's a small 3 feet.
But yeah, like all of my stuff is weight bearing. So like my furniture, people are always like, "Oh my god, it's so cute and tiny." And I'm like, it's kind of tiny, but it's kind of not.
Yeah.
Like it's all weight tested to where like my son could sit on it and it will not break.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Which adds just a whole nother level of difficulty to it.
Right.
Yeah, the way I build it is a little bit different. But, like, the 24-inch dolls are $500 base model dolls.
Oh, my God.
That I'm making stuff for. So that's why I'm, like, the new laser is coming. Like, I have a bigger workspace. Because right now I've been, like, piecing stuff together, like, double layers.
Right.
Good thing we
so, like, now I'll be able to
That's what I was just going to say. Aren't you glad that we're not having a girl?
Oh my god.
She's
yeah,
happy that we're not having her because she wouldn't have a, what is it, American Girl doll?
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
American Girl.
She'll have a
It's
Cuban
actually
girl doll.
really obnoxious.
She'll have a Cuban girl doll. A Cuban American girl doll.
They
But she
have
ain't having-
Latina girls.
For
No,
the same
he's
price?
talking about like
For the same
he
price?
got it
No.
from
Same price, same price.
Nope. I ain't paying those prices.
got it from the little corner store in
It fell off the truck.
in Hialeah.
Fell off the truck. Or I saw an American girl with one, and I took it from the American
You
girl.
stop.
I feel like I'm playing doll stocks all the time. Like my husband always calls it doll stocks because like I'll buy something and then it's retired and I'm able to sell it for like 5 times the price.
Ah.
That's where the
Nice.
value is because like
Yeah.
everything that you get, it retires and then you can like sell it for a lot more. Like
Yeah, because then
I got
everybody
an
wants it because they
outfit.
can't get it.
Right.
Yeah, like I got like a Christmas outfit once for $75, which is like $75 for doll clothing is
Nice.
insane.
Yeah.
But I sold it for $600.
Ooh.
Excuse me?
Who are these people?
Yeah, so I'm always like
Man.
playing the doll stocks.
That's nuts.
I don't.
It's a very strange
I don't
market.
understand.
Yeah,
No
it's just
entiendo.
No,
No entiendo.
no comprende.
No entiendo. No entiendo.
But yeah, these 24-inch dolls that I'm moving into are $500 base model dolls. So like my furniture has to be able to hold them up. I have to make sure that they don't stain the dolls. Like there's a lot of
Yeah.
testing and like sealing the whole process, everything. I have to make sure that it's good. But that's what I was doing before I got on the phone with you.
Yeah.
I was building the IKEA PAX units to set up another doll house.
Nice.
Yep.
So when does your mirror get here?
It's supposed to get here this month, but you know how that
Yeah.
goes.
Yeah, delay or
I'm
whatever.
also, I kind of fucked myself over because I didn't build my table.
Well, yeah, that's what everybody does. Literally, you're not the only one. Like everybody is like, because there's a long wait, and so you're like, oh, I have all this time in the world, and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden it's like coming that month or soon in a few weeks, and you're like, oh shit, I have to put this thing on something.
Where's the mirror going in your house?
So it's going in our basement, but I actually converted our basement to be my office and our master bedroom. So it's a very strange setup.
Interesting.
Like my bedroom's like right beside my office.
So it's going downstairs?
Yes.
do you have movers?
Oof.
I have a piano mover.
Oh, okay.
Like
then you're
that's
good.
right. You're piano. Yeah, never mind. You're good.
yeah, so they're equipped for this kind of thing, but I'm like, oh my god! Like I told my husband, I was like, can I go to Starbucks when they're here delivering it and like moving it because I can't watch it. Like I will throw up.
The anxiety
Listen,
of
their
my
piano-
husband
their piano
and
movers,
my
you're
brother-in-law moving it in. Oh my god.
Yeah.
What?
And I was pregnant, so I literally I couldn't help. I literally just had to watch and keep JR at bay. Oh my god.
So I'm gonna just let you know that it does have some water in it.
Yeah.
Oh boy,
Just
that's gonna scare me.
Just to let you know, it's gonna leak, but it'll be
Well,
fine.
so you can take out the chiller or you can drain it. So
Yeah,
there's ways to avoid the leak that we had.
Yeah.
I'm
Which nothing
planning on
happened, but
uninstalling.
yeah, that's the easiest way.
I figure
yeah.
weight wise that'll help too.
True. I don't know how heavy it is, but I mean, it couldn't hurt. That's for sure. Because it is 500 pounds.
But again,
so,
they're piano movers.
yeah.
So it should be.
So did you get the 7 or the 9?
The 9.
Nice. Good choice.
I wanted that giant bed.
Yeah. Good
And
choice.
because there's so many things that I want to do. But now that I'm looking at the bed size, I'm also like, oh, I want to do bigger. Now I need CNC.
We've talked about CNC as well. So
It's a mess, though.
It's hard. And it's hard to stop because I've looked at
No, it ain't.
fiber lasers and I've looked at 3D printers. It's just there's all
3D
these
printers on my list.
Yeah, it's hard because I just want to buy all the things. But
Adopt all the machines.
Yeah, the next thing I'm going to buy is a sticker printer. I'm pretty excited about that. Yeah.
That's really cool.
So I think that will be one of the things that I don't necessarily mind too much making a million of because I don't actually have to make it. I just have to print
Yeah.
it.
That's really, really cool.
Yeah, and then I can make Christmas dick stickers because I wanted to make those stickers, but I'm like, where the heck can I have somebody print these that one, it's allowed, or, you know.
Well, I've told you before that I think you need like a penis for every season. Like
Totally.
it needs to be a
penis
thing.
for every season.
Yeah, like where you
Easter
change,
dick.
you change
He
his
is
hats.
risen.
Yeah, he's
He is
risen.
risen.
Ah, I can't.
See what you did there.
You got to do it.
Totally, I'm gonna add that to my long list. I need to. I already have
Long
the
list.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be banned.
Yeah, I already have it drawn. I just need to draw new hats. All right. So, did we cover everything in the most definitely story that you wanted to share? Is there anything else you wanted to
plug, promote?
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much it. I'm a really random person, so like,
yeah.
I told you I was like, I hope I'm not gonna be like really awkward on this.
Nah,
No,
you were
it
good.
was fine.
Yeah.
It was perfect.
It was nice talking to you guys.
Yeah,
you too.
Well, we'd like to thank you for being on the podcast, and that's been another great episode of the Riley Black Project with Crystal and John.
Bye.
Thanks for having me. Bye.
Thanks for coming.
Maybe we're all done.